Severe storms have been showing up big time and leaving this, a trail of destruction. We saw a dozen tornado reports yesterday, nearly 300 reports of damaging wind as strong as 81 miles an hour in Ohio.
Right.
And we have our eyes peeled for more important storms today with the same hazards the northern plains into the northeast.
Yeah, I mean, it's been aggressive all week long. Plus, it's not just storms that we're tracking. We are tracking the heat.
Ooh,
big heat.
You know it.
First major big heat wave, if you want to call it that, for the season for so many of us. We're talking over 200 million, affecting 200 million of us, over 200 million by this weekend.
Bigly.
And by next week, we could be talking about some places hitting 100 degrees for the first time.
And then we have some big stuff happening in the tropics. We have Hurricane Eric that has officially made landfall about an hour ago. And this is historic because it is the strongest hurricane to make landfall in the month of June there in Mexico on record, coming in as a dangerous Category 3.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. We got a lot to break down here on America's Morning Headquarters. I'm Jordan Steele, Stephanie Abrams. We have Jim Cantori here, too.
That's right. So we're going to start off with Jim because, Jim, that's not even the half of it of what we're dealing with. We got severe weather in the south today, this morning. In Indianapolis, customers without power. And we could see some more storms basically heading east today. See video like that out of the northeast. So there it is. It's not just Indianapolis. Ohio, over 60,000 without customers. Michigan, we're still holding at 11,400 customers without power. And more of us could see that power go out, especially in the northeast. As we go through the day today, you've got the moisture. You've got your surface feature, you've got the upper level feature, you've also got plenty of lift in the atmosphere, and that means of what's starting out as a calm day is not going to finish as a calm day. So there's your cloud cover in New England. Available energy, as you can see, is into parts of Massachusetts, Connecticut, a lot stronger as you head down towards the mid-Atlantic and Delmarva. That front is basically shoving everything up into the atmosphere, cooling, condensing, and raining it out. And then you've got the winds, especially the low-level winds. They're going to punch in here. You've got some of that jet energy, too. So that's going to give us the biggest threat of hail and damaging winds as we head especially into the afternoon and evening. So watch everything start to rotate around on 1 o'clock. You see it in Ohio, West Virginia, the Appalachians, and then it all continues to rotate around. This lone cell here, that is going to be bad. Very heavy rain, very gusty winds out of that. You could see it out of this cell. You're going to see it out of that, heading towards the Roanoke area. And then it's going to make its way to the I-95 corridor as we head more around that dinner time area, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Raining, pouring rain. I think that if you have a flight later in the day, we really could see some issues here with those flights because there's so many planes, so many big cities. You can only navigate around so many of these thunderstorms. D.C. really gets hit. Look at 4 o'clock. That is quite the line here for the burbs. Then it blows through D.C. 5, 6. It goes east there. And we'll still have some showers as we're heading to bed, but it doesn't look like they will be as intense, which is good. And as we look at Philadelphia, again, for us coming in around that 5 o'clock hour, Wilmington getting hammered up towards Philly. And this area, by the way, the drought has really shrunk significantly, but we could still use a little bit of rain for some of the spots here with improving conditions overnight. New York City, look off to the west. Maybe you'll see a shelfie. Look to the south coming up 95. You'll see some of those storms. Everything's going to be pouring in as we head into the evening hours. And then a quick look at tomorrow. A little bit cooler for us here and a lot sunnier, but that's going to change, Jordan. We are going to see feels like temperatures in the triple digits as we get into next week.
Oh, it's going to be tough. It's going to be.
Welcome back into America's Morning Headquarters, where we've been tracking fierce storms all week. Look at this scenic route in Memphis last night. Brought to you, these views are brought to you by storms as they roll through the southeast. All the more reason to grab a window seat on your next flight. And the threat for powerful and dangerous storms isn't over just yet. More than 60 million are in the path of severe weather today. Certainly going to see a lot more lightning. And Jim, of course, see how the pilot is going around that thunderstorm and not right through it, which is what they do if you're a nervous flyer. They're not going to punch through these big thunderstorms. That'd be terrible for everyone involved.
So, Steph, as you know, when you have updraft strength of 50 to 100 meters per second,
that are impacting us from the west coast to the Canadian border, down into the south, and even in the east coast. 107 fires that are over 100 acres. It's about the size. 1 acre is about the size of a football field without the end zones. So imagine we have over 260 1,000 acres that have burned so far. And we could see more issues here in the Four Corners over to the Great Basin, where we have red flag warnings and fire weather watch. What does that mean? Well, one thing it means, it is very dry out there. You're talking single-digit relative humidities, 20s, 30s, maybe 40% if you can get to it in some spots, but it's only for a short amount of time. As we go through the day and everything warms and the dew point temperature is farther away from the high, then your relative humidity is going to drop on down. In the morning hours, they're a little bit closer. You have higher relative humidity. But this is a story. Friday, Saturday, you can see humidity up into the northwest, but it just doesn't get into the southwest. The other issue is high pressure, low pressure. We got a pressure gradient, which means we're going to get strong winds, 30, 40 mile an hour winds. So if anything ignites, it could go quick. It could spread fast. And this does last also into our weekend. So we've got a long stretch of that dry, windy weather with no rain in sight. Look at that. Absolutely nothing for these regions that are going to be the hottest and the driest. So you want to have a go bag, a wildfire go bag here. Just like people get prepared for hurricanes, you want to have one for wildfires with cash, documents, maybe first aid kit, medication, non-perishable food, some water, Jim. And then don't forget about the pets, their food and medicine too.
Great ideas.
And the sun were involved, or
how do you get it?
They're thought to be part of this.
Got to be.
The sun's 93 million miles away from us. I know that because
it's just right there.
I know, it's just right there.
It's just right there.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That was one of the questions, I think, for one of the people who won the $1 million.
Wow.
Was how far is the sun? I think that was one of the winning answers. I could be wrong. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it was just on the show. But that's where I learned 93 million miles. Isn't it funny you watch these shows and you learn like
what sticks with you?
Quiz shows?
We were told that.
Well, you're like a
in
sponge
school.
anyway.
No, not anymore. For some reason.
Abrams, you're still a sponge.
I'm really starting to. Okay. So the sun is 93 million miles away. It's going to feel like it's 93 miles away from you with all the heat that's coming in. Heat advisory.